Hey everybody, Zach here with the Builders Brotherhood, and today on the channel we're going to be talking about how to remodel on a budget. And so this is not going to be a DIY or how to save money, doing stuff yourself. This is if you're somebody coming from a place where you have no knowledge on doing construction work, but you want a remodeling project done and you just need to do it the cheapest way possible. Today, we're going to talk about some ways that you can save money here and there throughout the process and hopefully get all the things that you want done for as reasonable price as possible, but not sacrificing the quality. Because on this channel, I do always want to preach that we should be doing quality work. And unfortunately, that does come at a cost. So we just have to uh, recognize that anytime that I'm talking about remodeling work, we're going to be talking about doing the job right. But even with doing the job right, there is some ways that you're able to save some money. So today, I would like to bring up the first step in your remodeling project is finding a general contractor with a proven track record. And that's not going to be, like I said, cheap for you to go with a general contractor. But I assure you that in the long run, after the project is over, you are going to save the most money that way. Because if you go and try to find the cheapest contractor out there, um, you're going to have a massive amount of headaches. And yeah, that doesn't necessarily affect your wallet, but on top of that, you're going to have a lot of poor quality work, poor craftsmanship. You're not going to be happy with the way it turns out. And you're also probably going to have to redo some stuff down the road because it wasn't done properly in the first place. So, seek out the people in your neighborhoods or your city or your local area who maybe just go on Google and see all the reviews who has a bunch of positive reviews, 4 stars or higher, and just give them some calls and bring them out and talk to them about what you want to do. During that talk, you're going to be able to flesh out who if the person you're hiring knows what they're talking about. So, if you're finding a bunch of good information online about these people, you meet them in person and they're uh, just giving you everything that you're saying to them back, or they're giving it back to you in a really good, responsive way. And they're also uh, educating you on some other things as well that you probably didn't think of that you're going to run into throughout the project. And that's a really good sign that you're picking a good person is if they're bringing up things that you never even thought about. And so that when determining the budget of the project, you can just get a lot closer to what that actual cost is going to be. Because ultimately, you have a dollar figure in mind that you're able to use, whatever it may be. And if you're talking about remodeling your entire house and the money that you have in your budget isn't anywhere close to what it's going to cost to remodel your house, then you might have to rethink just putting off that project for a little while and stashing some money away to be able to do it. If you're close to what the cost is going to be, then in the next few steps, I'll tell you about some ways that you can actually save some money. So, before we get into all those steps though, I just want to hit on the basic things is find that good general contractor because they're going to do the work right and they're going to seek out every way possible to value engineer what the work that they're doing to fit within your budget. They're not going to just try to nickel and dime you. But the next thing is try before you sign a contract or start the project to define every last thing in a perfect world that you would want to do on your house. It could be you're remodeling your bathroom and your kitchen, but on the outside of your house, your shutters are falling apart or something, and you know you have to get it done. but you're not really thinking about it because you're like, "Well, I'm just trying to get a bathroom or kitchen remodel done." Put that on the list. Put everything that you can on the list. If you got a piece of siding that's fallen off your house, you got a loose gutter, you got a squeaky floorboards, whatever it is, figure out every last thing on that list and say, "This is the work that I want done. I want a kitchen and bathroom done. But while you guys are here remodeling my house, I also want you to do all these things as well, because that is going to be the cheapest time for you to do it. While the contractor is already there doing a sizable project for you, for them to knock some things off your to-do list is gonna be dramatically cheaper than hiring somebody to just come out specifically for each one of those items. Like, for let's use the siding, for example. If you have the contractor there, they're replacing some windows in your kitchen, they're already messing with the siding, let's say, and you're like, "Oh, hey, on the whole other side of my house, I have 2 rotted pieces of siding." It's gonna be so cheap for them to replace that siding for you. They might even just do it for free, to be honest. In some cases, if you're bringing them a good enough amount of work, it'll just be a handout at that point. Whereas on the flip side, if you wake up on one weekend and you look at your piece of siding and it's totally falling off your house, you call up a contractor and say, "Hey, I need you to repair 2 pieces of siding." They're gonna charge you a lot more money because they gotta drive all the way out there. They gotta make sure that they have all the materials needed to make the repair. They gotta come out, do the repair, and they have to deal with every aspect of the sale with you, which is time consuming. So, I hope you can see where I'm coming at you with this. It's like it's just an easy way for them to knock other things off the list while all their power tools are there, all their contractors are there. People are in and out of the house every single day for weeks or months on end. It's just so much cheaper for you to get these little things knocked off the list while they're already there. So that can save you money on the grand scheme of your whole house and the projects that you need done on the house. Is use those big projects as kind of like an umbrella to all your little projects that you're doing. Um, so back to the core project that you're doing, if during the process of building that budget and that project with your contractor, just make a mention to them that you really you sought them out because you want the quality and you want the job done right ultimately in the end. But if they could um, help you out with shopping around the tradesmen that they're bringing in, they should already be doing this. But some contractors get kind of used to using the same subcontractors, and they just will take their bid for what it is and just go with it. And that could be good, it could be bad. Sometimes the subcontractors give the general contractor good pricing just because they feed them so much work. But I have seen in my in my experience that they will sometimes accidentally just raise the price because they're just so busy with other stuff, and uh, or maybe they lost out on one of the last projects with the general contractor that they're trying to make up a little bit of the money on this next project. And so if you if you just take the time to ask them like, "Hey, for the electrical, I know it's an extensive project that we're doing, and I want to use your trusted guys, but could you just do me a favor and make sure that you uh, look at the best possible candidate for this project to where we can get the same value that I'm seeking, or quality craftsmanship that I'm seeking, but for a good value, maybe a little bit cheaper than somebody that you use regularly." And they should be able to do that because ultimately what the contractor's job is to get the project done for you within your budget. And so you only have a certain budget. We all don't just have money trees in the backyard, and we can't just call our long lost uncle or something and say, "Hey, I need an extra 20 grand." It just doesn't work that way for everybody. So, uh, during that bidding phase, just make sure that they're doing their due diligence and trying to reach out to the contractors that are going to give you the quality for a good price. And so, when you're building that budget with the contractor, I would say that you should not put all your cards on the table. It might be common sense to do that, but it also might not be for some people. So let's say you have a project, you're remodeling your kitchen and bathroom, you're willing to spend $200,000. Well, take anywhere from 10 to 20% of that money that you have and stash that away, and don't say that that's your budget. So tell the contractor that you either have anywhere from 180,000 to 160,000 dollars that you're willing to work with. And the reason I say for you to do this is because the contractor wants the project from you, and they're going to figure out a way to get it done unless it's totally unreasonable, unless you don't have money anywhere in the ballpark of what it's going to cost to do the project. But speaking in terms of you got the money, we can get the project done, they're going to fit within your budget. So you got the 160 to $180,000 that you're willing to spend. They're going to do what they can. They're going to get uh, obviously the kitchen and the bathroom remodel all to fit within that. And then they're also gonna, all those little to-do list items that you have, they're gonna try to figure out how to fit within that. And they might at that point say, "Hey, we're really gonna try to fix all the shutters on your house. I know that's a thing on your list that you wanna do, but the budget is kinda tight. We're we're gonna see as it develops if we're able to fit that in." And if so, with any project that you're gonna do that's an extensive form of a remodel, there's gonna be some things, what I call unknowns, that are gonna arise as the project ensues. And it could be some rot that is found, it could be some part of the project that's adjacent to the work being done that needs to be fixed. Um, it could be some structural problems, and they have to bring in potentially an engineer, and they have to bring in some either steel or laminated lumber to properly support your house. And that is not an uncommon thing at all. It happens more often than not. And so you have that 10 to $20,000 stashed or 10 to 20% stashed away, so that when the change order comes, let's say they need to fix some structural stuff, they're going to bring an engineer in, and then they're going to have a framing crew and maybe some management time and some materials. Well, you got some money on the side for when they give you that change order for that cost, whatever it may be. Now, let's say that nothing happens. Somehow you get through the project, everything was just hunky dory. They didn't find anything that was crazy, and they just handled it, and it was all good. Well, now you got 10 to 20% sitting on the side that not only are you gonna be like, "Hey," if they have a problem with, let's use the example of the shutters where they're not able to fit it in, be like, "Hey, I do have an extra amount of money. Like, I really want the shutters done. Like, let's figure out a way for you to get it done while you're here. How much is it gonna cost more?" And you got that money for that. But then also, as the project is going through its phases, you're going to find some things, and the contractor is going to bring up some things to you, and you're going to realize, oh, there is some other stuff that I want to put on this list. Well, here you go. You got that 10 to 20% sitting on the sidelines that you can now get some pricing from the contractor to get the work done. And like I said in the beginning, this is going to be the cheapest time for you to get this work done. It might seem like I know there's a lot of channels out there that are really pushing the DIY stuff, and that's great. If you have the capabilities of doing your stuff yourself, then by all means do it. But there's so many people out there who just uh, A, don't know how to do the stuff, and B, really shouldn't be doing the stuff because it could be unsafe. And you can put your family and your lives in danger if you're doing work improperly. And um, so that's one huge way to save money. But if you're not capable of doing those things, well, how are you going to save that money? And it's having less trips to your house. That's what it ultimately boils down to, is having the contractor have to take less trips to your house. And how do they do that? Well, they do that by getting all that work done during one project and not turning it into a four-phase project where they come every season or whatever and do a little aspect of it. It's going to be dramatically more expensive for them to do that. So, and you're going to have your house just in shambles for the foreseeable future if you just constantly have people working on it over and over again. Just deal with the headache of getting all the work done in one foul swoop. You're going to save a buttload of money, and you're going to be happy that it's just over and done and you got everything checked off your list. So have that money set aside and use it. Or maybe in the end, you don't have to use it and you got a little bit of a little bit of a safety net on the side, and that doesn't hurt as well. Um, so something else that you can do to save a little bit of money is the contractor, when you're negotiating with them for the project and it's getting really tight on your budget and they're trying to shave away some of the items that you had on the list that you really wanted done. Well, the general contractor, they mark up uh, a lot of their work. They'll mark up the subcontractors, they'll mark up the materials, and they'll mark up like the general conditions of the project. Well, they have a set price of that markup. Let's say it's 20% or 25%. Well, you can negotiate with them at least for that markup percent. That's where you have kind of the leg up on them. Is you can say, "Hey, I really want you to be my contractor. I This is all I have for my budget. Is there any way that you could come down on your markup?" And even just a 5% markup is pretty huge. I mean, on a $200,000 project, that's $10,000 that you're saving if you can just negotiate a couple percents here and there. And so, but you got to approach it in a good way. You can't just go demanding anything, and you can't expect them to give it to you because they're not expected to give you a deal on the markup. But sometimes, if you have a good relationship, you seem like a great client that the contractor knows you're going to be a good client to work for, really wants to do the project for you, maybe needs to fill some time in his schedule because he's got a gap in his schedule, and they'll throw you a bone. They'll give you a little bit of a deal on that markup, and you can save thousands of dollars with doing that. So that's a little hidden gem there. Just like I said, tread lightly a little bit when you are negotiating things like that because it can get pretty tense at times, I guess, when you're negotiating money. So just go in it with the understanding that you might not get it. And I think you'll be fine. Um, Now, not all contractors for this next one are gonna allow this either, but I think it's something worth asking. And that is big ticket items when it comes to vendors or materials. And so, like, let's use the example cabinetry. Like, you have your whole kitchen cabinet, maybe you have some laundry room cabinets and some cabinets in your kids' room or something. That's a pretty big order. You're getting 20, 30 cabinets and a bunch of odds and ends pieces that go with all the cabinetry. So you're spending a big chunk of money right there. If you're able to be the one purchasing that, I mean, you're spending the money anyways. Yeah, the contractor might be able to get a deal on that purchase, but like I said earlier, they're marking it up. So you're kind of getting in the realm of paying the same price as if you were just gonna buy the materials yourself. And so one thing you can do is purchase the materials yourself, but purchase them on like some sort of cashback uh, financial tool, like a credit card or something like that. I'm not advocating for anybody to get into debt. This is not about getting into debt. Like I said, you already have the money. You should not be doing projects when you don't have the money, unless it's absolutely critical, like your house is falling down or you have mold or something like that where your life's in danger. And but let's say you have that whatever $15,000 on the side that was designated for cabinetry. You're the one purchasing the cabinets. So you purchase them on your credit card where you have 1%, 2%, 3% cash back, and you purchase that $15,000 order of cabinets on it. Well, you just got anywhere up to 3% cash back on that. And so that's money in your pocket. And you can do that for all phases of the project. And you can just pay your credit card off right away. Make that purchase, get the cash back, pay off your credit card with the money that was already there. And you just got some extra money in your pocket now. And so that can insulate you for any of the unknowns that I talked about earlier. Or it could be stuff that you want to add to the list, like you have some recessed lighting or something in your room or your kid's bedroom that you're like, "Hey, I really don't like these lights, but it wasn't part of the project, but you know what? I just saved 1,000, $2,000 doing this. Let's put some new lights in, make this place really nice and livable." And you can do that for everything, like I said. You can do it for huge lumber orders. You can do it for the cabinets. You can do it for a big tile order. You name it. I mean, the countertops, every aspect of your project that you're doing. But just make sure that you have the money to pay off that credit card right away, because then it's not going to work, because then you're going to start getting charged interest, and your interest is way higher than the cash back that you're getting. I can assure you. And so you'll be in the hole then. So you got to be responsible. I'm sure most people watching this are pretty responsible people because you're doing your due diligence and trying to figure out a way to save yourself some money. And I just have one last thing on the list here, and it's not like a good way to just get you money back quickly, but it's a good way to help your contractor not be forced to charge you more money because the project is taking longer than he thought. And that is all the design decisions on your project. Don't wait for the last minute to pick out those design decisions. The paint colors for the walls, the tiles, the countertops, the cabinetry, you name it, the hardwood floor, whatever it is that you're using. I mean, every little nitty gritty thing, the hardware for your doors, the hinges, the plate covers for your electrical, have that stuff figured out. Be organized, be doing your research, be asking the questions throughout the project. Make sure that you have it all figured out. Maybe you're working with a designer. The designer should have it all figured out. But either way, if it's you or it's the designer, the the faster and the more efficiently that you can give your contractor these decisions, the faster and more efficiently that they're going to be able to get the project done. And that's such a big deal because if for most contractors, if projects are getting pushed because you're not making decisions, then they're going to charge you more time because, like I said, the guys are going to have to come back out to the house more. So let's say the project was slated to be done a month from this period right now. Well, you're delaying the decisions and you're delaying their work. And now it's a month and a half from now, or maybe even 2 months from now that the project's not going to get done. Well, they're not just going to take that hit of saying, hey, we were supposed to be done 1 month from now. And now because you haven't made these decisions, we're not going to be done for 2 months from now. And that's them coming back for a whole entire month more. And they have to charge for that. And so they're going to charge management time, they're going to charge the labor time, and it's going to turn into a complete mess for you. And you're going to be spending money that you didn't even realize was going to be part of the project. And that's why I always advocate for having that 10 to 20% on the side because, I mean, stuff happens. We all know that this is remodeling. It's not a perfect world. So money's going to have to come from somewhere. And you don't want to get blindsided and you don't want to be put in a position or put your contractor in a position where you have no money left. So try to save the money where you can with a few of the things that I brought up here today. Get everything done on your list. Think of it all. Start creating your list today for the project and communicate that with your contractor. And I think you'll be in a good place to get your remodel done on a good price and within your budget. So if you got some value from this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and most importantly, leave a comment down below and tell me if any of this stuff worked for you, if you have anything else to add, or maybe even tell me about some past anecdotes that uh, about your past that is a story or so that either went good or bad, and some things you might have wanted to change throughout that process and educate us all because that's what we're here. We're a community. We're trying to navigate the construction industry together as efficiently as we can. And so the best way to do that is to be reaching out in these videos and supporting the channel. And most of all, I appreciate it. I'm going to keep making this channel and making videos for you guys and giving all my information that I have that I've gained over the years. So thanks for coming. And like I said, if you got some value, at least just leave a comment and let me know that you did.